Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Poetic Philosophy number 93. And in today's podcast, I'm going to do a little reading in one of my books you can find on Amazon.com. It's entitled A Book of Thought. You can do a search on my name, Robert G. Parent, and when you're on Amazon, you'll come up to A Book of Thought. It is a red book. And it's just a book that's a series of thoughts that kind of go from season to season. The first poem is entitled Creation. The plants break through the cold, dark blanket. God created the heavens and the earth. The beauty begins. The trees and plants grow in the sun's light, from infancy to maturity, and live in joy as people and life grow. The leaves change to colorful jewels, the hair changes to a shiny silver. The leaves fall to the ground, the leaves fall to the cold, dark blanket and sleep. People lay and sleep in the cold, dark blanket, lifeless. This next poem is entitled Life. And again, I wrote these poems quite a while ago. You could say that this is probably my first real poetry book, even though it didn't get published until many years later. Life. God gave us our road and our destiny. God gave us the vehicle in which to traverse on our journey. God gave us the beautiful scenery. All we have to do is just sit behind the wheel and see the beauty of life. Thank you. This next poem, I love trains. I love the sound of trains. I love the sound of the train whistle as it passes through the country. It's etheric sound. It's almost like it's coming from the spirit world. And of course, Harry Potter used this image in the very last movie where Harry Potter dies. That's okay. He comes back to life. But I love trains. I love that etheric sound as the whistle blowing as the train goes through the countryside. I don't know. There's just something about it. Anyways, here's the poem. The train. Where is it going? Clickety-clack, clickety-clack. Big boxes on wheels, following parallel tracks. Tons of metal pushes by an engine's power. Through the town it passes, the journey of the past. It carries the dreams from the past to the future, all our past to all our futures. As time flows like the stream of the town's minds. This next poem, I used to watch Star Trek all the time, and there was a particular episode where Q taught Captain Picard a very valuable lesson. Now this kind of sounds like that, but if you listen to those, it's definitely not the same words, but it inspired that. It's entitled Challenge. Those bereft of passion and imagination do not seek challenge. Those that play it safe do not seek challenge. Those that don't seek challenges don't take the chances. Those that don't take chances do not realize how important each moment must be. Those who know not how important each moment must be, they drift through life with no plan or agenda. Those with no plan or agenda don't seek the opportunities that life presents themselves. Those that don't seek the opportunities when they present themselves live a boring life and always settle for less. The soul that settles for less can't feel the joy, can't know how to conquer its fears. Those that don't conquer their fear are afraid to face them. Those that don't seek challenge lack focus in their lives. Those who lack focus in their lives have not come face to face with their own mortality. For the greatest challenge one can have is to face her most powerful fear, to fight against overwhelming odds. Those that seek this challenge, to fight their most powerful fear, are blessed with the greatest battle of them all. And those that fight and conquer their most powerful fear will know how true victory feels. And yes, it feels awesome. Begin your journey. And I think I still got a few minutes. I'm just going to keep reading from my book. In between this book, there's like a conversation going on with different elements of nature, including an old man in a dream inside a old house. You know, the glass is missing and the door creaks when you open it. And if you could actually smell it, you'd smell the musk of that old building in the middle of the forest. Anyways, I'm just reading the poems in this podcast. This next poem is about the full moon. That's something else growing up, and still too nowadays. I love the full moon. Because on a more spiritual sense, it's the promise of light in the darkness. And in our darkened times, there is always light. And if you forget that, just look up at the moon and remember there is light in darkness. And the moon is actually a reflection of the sun's light, the source, God. One with her. I look out my kitchen window. I see you by that tree that has been stripped by the autumn wind. The clouds obey you as they break up and surround you. You are so filled with mystery, with adventure. You fill all the gaps in my being. You make me full of mystery, full of adventure, full of the wonderful future, full of companionship, full of joy, full of love. Oh, wondrous creation of God, you are truly special. You fill my life with life. You light up my world. You brighten the darkness. You give me hope to carry on. I am one with your beauty. You are my special friend. And I thank our Father Creator for our friendship. Amen. This next poem, I was inspired by Amway, because I used to be a distributor in the Amway business. I didn't make money. I did try. It is hard. It's pretty much selling. You know, you gotta learn to be a good salesman. It's pretty much you're selling your group. You're selling yourself. So, but I went to a dream weekend. They have a lot of these big weekends throughout the year, and they have a big one, Dream Weekend. It was up in Quebec. I've never been as far as Quebec. We used to travel to Canada because we had relatives up there in Drummondville. So I never I never drove up to Quebec, which is pretty much all the way at the top of the country, the top of the province. Anyways, I was inspired by that. Just the atmosphere of people and words and uh, people coming up on stage, just like, and just the crowd as they were so into that particular moment. It inspired this poem. It's entitled Dare to Dream, and this is probably one of my favorite poems. I dare to dream, to venture high above sky, not of sugar plums, not of ice cream, but what awaits among the stars, and fly. To visit worlds new and old, I want to see that wonder. To be bold, I dream and ponder. I hear powerful thrusters. I feel the ship go toward sky. My heart flutters. I'm going beyond the sky. There must be more. I see much wonder. To be a bore, or dream and ponder. Now, I'm just kind of flipping around the book. I mean, it is autumn, so it'd be nice to get some autumn scenes in here. Well, I mean, there is a poem. I'm not sure what season we're in, but it's entitled Our Guides of Light. It's a very short poem. I probably should post this on Twitter or X, because X marks the spot for awesome poetry. It's entitled Our Guides of Light. There is a darkness all around us. We cannot see where to go next, but there are those who travel along the path with the light of truth. They are the ones who light the darkness and show us the path of where to go next. They are our guides of light. And that is an angel poem. Okay. Here's an autumn. It's actually the first poem that starts the autumn section, entitled Autumn. And it's more of a poetic prose type of poem. Autumn. How do I know autumn is arriving when the cool fall air reaches across the colorful landscape? I know autumn has arrived. Some birds change the direction they fly. The other animals of nature make their alterations to prepare for that frigid blanket of winter. As nature changes her scene, people change their attitudes, falling as gently in the wind like snowflakes. The leaves land on the ground as they decompose, making the soil rich as that homemade cake you remembered as a child. You know autumn has attained a position of beauty. The leaves also transform from many shades of green to many shades of red, orange, yellow, and brown, looking like precious jewels. Oh, what a truly beautiful season. To change from boring to beauty, autumn is a season of change. And that's probably why that's one of my favorite seasons. I don't like the heat too much. Um, Here's, I don't know, I'm looking through a variety of poems. I'm just wondering which ones to do in this particular podcast. Um, hmm. Uh, okay. Maybe I can do It's Election Time. It's only 3 stanzas. And this poem describes every single election season we have. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who's running, who's in office. It just describes every single election. And maybe one day we'll actually know the true power that we have in an election if it's not getting taken away. Anyways, it's election time. To sell or not to sell, with banners and signs, the people's chance to yell and speak from their insides. To vote or hope, it's the people's choice, making the elected dope hear their voice. The choice is ours to will or not, and go in deep repose, or be part of the melting pot. And that's the challenge. Do we continue to be asleep? Or do we take arms against a sea of troubles and become part of the melting pot? Another reason why I like autumn, I think it's a very creative season. I don't know, it seems like I'm more inspired in autumn. And I wrote this poem. I was still struggling with clutter back then. I do have less now, but there's still more work to be done. The title of the poem is Browsing Through an Old Closet. And this could also be considered as a metaphor of the mind or the brain. Well, probably the mind, because the mind, it stores more information. Browsing through an old closet, among the dark, jammed full with stuff, I must see the light, clear out the clutter. Among the cobwebs all my memories set, daylight is coming, spring cleaning's a must. What I find in corners will give me sustenance. I must bring it to light. To be free, I must. Held as a prisoner among the stuff, enter God's light, paves the way. Deep in mind's eye, cluttered emotion set. The love of God frees all the clutter. I like that. It's a nice poem. And I think I'm going to end this with a poem about Massabesic Lake. I grew up around that lake, and even though I've moved out of that town, I still go back because there's something about that lake. I don't know if it's memories of the past. I mean, we all go through neighborhoods that we used to live in, and we either see how it's changed or how it's not changed, but how we've changed. And usually when we go back to those places we grew up as, they always seem bigger. No, no, they don't seem bigger. They seem smaller. They were bigger when we were growing up, but upon returning they're smaller. I suppose that's the hero's journey. It shows how truly we've grown. This is a beautiful Sunday afternoon in the autumn. I sit on the rocks ashore. The warm sun radiates its golden touch on me. The wind dances with my hair and moves the waters of the lake to my feet. Nature wants to share herself with me. The wind also likes to play with the sailboats out there on the lake. Well, just down the shore, fishermen cast their lines and wait for their catch. This place is filled with treasure and draws people from all over the country, like Trisha, Dawn, and their friend. They who live in Florida confirm of the treasures in this spot. The clouds want a part of this day as they roll in and block the golden rays of the sun, making it darker. Still, they don't dominate the day, but are part of this illuminating day. The sailboats, the fishermen, the lake, the waves, the wind, and the writer on shore recording this moment of time are all part of this magical autumn day. Nothing can lay claim to this treasure, for the treasured picture is surrounded by colorful, precious jewels. All are contained in this picture, and everything is in harmony. The clouds uncover the sun, which continue to beam its radiance of golden wisdom on the writer. The sun says everything is in harmony. The sun, the clouds, the wind, the jewels, the lake, the waves, the water, the fish, the sailboats, the writer, the fisherman, and the writer who sees, records, and shares this vision. Nothing gold can stay, and this golden treasure must pass on to time and tell of other stories. The boats sail back to the shore, the fishermen pack up their gear, and the writer returns home and leaves the scene peaceful, content, and energized. This scene has given much to all that came. It lives on in the lives of those it touched, but still it has more to give for those who are still to come. A truly infinite treasure. Later, when all are gone and the water is still, the lake invites the heavens for a nightcap, and they party all night and savor each other's company. The night can be so lonely, but together they're happy. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast of the reading of my book, A Book of Thought, which you can find over on Amazon.com. It's a red-covered book. Just do a search on my name, Robert G. Parent. It may be on my my blogspot blog at robertg.blogspot.com. I also have other poems and other writings in the Poet's Perspective newsletter at my Substack. Jedi Poet over there, but you can just look up the Poet's Perspective. And I'm on Twitter, X, been on there for a while, at Podcast Bard, and that's also my handle on YouTube. And at what's that other one? I can't think of the name of the other. The other video streaming site. See, I don't speak about it that much. So oh, Rumble. Yeah, I don't speak of Rumble that much, but yeah, what I put on YouTube, I put on Rumble. So if you don't want to go to YouTube, you can go to Rumble. And I hope you all enjoy the rest of this night, the rest of the day, the rest of this autumn. Remember, as you go about your journey, to stay creative in the magic of life. Thank you for listening. Good day.